All right. Here we are.
Good
We are
afternoon
in.
or
We
good
are
morning,
ready.
depending what time you are listening to this. Or good
Exactly.
evening.
Woo, Jimmy. Okay, finally got everything situated. I forgot I was sitting in the dark and everything, and I had the wrong camera going. But hey, welcome everyone. This is From the Margins. James Lafont, David Washington, your host, and we're going to get right into it. As promised, we're going to talk about what the Democrats need to do for a reboot, our 15 points for both the national and local Democratic organizations. Let's start first with Osceola County, because Osceola County here in Florida moved about 23 points to the right since the 2016 election to now. And one of our viewers had a question for Jimmy about Osceola. What happened in Osceola, Jimmy, with the
That,
Hispanic population?
that's simple. Let me clarify. Biden did not invest in Florida. He conceded Florida to the Republicans. Okay, so he didn't work any of the vote in Florida. Harris did the same. She didn't invest anything in it. As a matter of fact, in social media, there's a lot of pointing back that saying that they abandoned the party, abandoned the people here. There was no money. The other thing is surprising in 2016 is when the party decides that they're not going to do any more African American outreach or Hispanic outreach. Those people are going to vote for us. We don't have to do anything. The other phenomenon was that Marco Rubio goes out there and tells the Puerto Rican people, hey, vote for me. I'm going to bring statehood to Puerto Rico. Little liar. Uh, Vote for me because I am like you and Hispanic, and I will help you. Why are you voting for a white person against an Hispanic? Well, it did work because his margin is larger than the one that we had. Also, Marco Rubio was running against Demings. You know how much money Demings spent in Osceola County? Zero in the Hispanic community. As a matter of fact, I am one of the commentators, as you know, in Telemundo. And Telemundo told me that in the last two cycles, the Democrats have been outspent 20 to 1 in the Hispanic media. Okay, that's another. But most important,
22.
the Democratic Party statewide and the Osceola County Democratic Party is a fiasco. They've done nothing to cultivate the Hispanic vote. So, if you don't put water in a plant, it dies? Yeah. Has it shifted? Yes. Why? Because the Republicans have worked the Hispanic vote. The Republicans have talked to them and lied to them, say we're going to bring statehood for Puerto Rico. We're the statehood party. The
Right.
now governor of Puerto Rico, and who's a Republican, she helped campaign here for them, saying, "Hey, vote for these people because if you vote for these people, they're going to take care of Puerto Rico." Big surprise! Trump won in Puerto Rico. You're screwed, but that's for another day. But the Democratic Party has not worked the Hispanic vote. The only reason that we were successful in Orange County is because the Hispanic leadership of the Orange County Democratic Party didn't take for granted the Hispanic vote. They cultivated it, they pushed it, they went out there, they made sure that they got it. But I can't say the same for Osceola County, and much less can I say that for Seminole or Volusia County. For some reason, the Democrats, for too long, have taken for granted that Hispanics are Democrats. Never understood the logic
Right.
because we're not a race, we're an ethnicity. We don't have exclusivity of people being stupid. We have ours, and white people and African Americans have theirs. And the other phenomenon that nobody's discussing in Florida, the African American vote is also going to the right. The high percentage, lower than the Hispanics. I would admit that, but for numbers that used to be 85 to 90% Democrats, there's a lot of African Americans who are abandoning the Democrat Party again because the Democrat Party takes for granted that Hispanics and African Americans are going to vote for them. We don't need to work there. We don't need to spend any money there. We don't need to do anything. So yeah, I'm not surprised. This is something that for years has been the abandonment of the Democratic Party in Florida and national.
And Jimmy, there's nothing there that I cannot disagree with right now. Of course, the data is still coming in. To speak to African Americans, yes, they showed up as the monolith that they are for the Harris campaign and other Democrats. However, like you said, and like we've been saying before, the Democratic Party locally, statewide, and nationally are bleeding black voters, particularly black men, particularly specifically younger black men. And right now, looking at these results across the board, the Democrats have a lot of work to do for 2025, 26, 27, 28, so forth and so on. And I do have the data on the screen right now for our viewers from, hopefully I'm pronouncing it correct, Equus, I can't remember, Xequis research. I listened to them many times on different platforms. However, it shows Osceola County in the nation, second in the nation, their precincts moved 23 points to the right. And this played into a lot of local elections also, Jimmy. The state Senate District 25 race. The state House District 47 race, the county commissioner race, number one. Also, these numbers in the general election, as we see, more Hispanic voters in this particular part of the country, Osceola County, Puerto Ricans, move further to the right since 2016 than many other areas of the country. Second in the country, and as far as moving from the left to the right.
And that is correct. And that's the county where Arrington was able to effectively eliminate all Hispanic candidates for the Senate, get it for herself, and they basically did not want the Hispanic vote to come out. And there's some questions of, Osceola County as to if the people who control the Osceola County DEC, if they really did their work to suppress the Hispanic vote, and they didn't work it and let the Republicans take over. And yes, this is something that is alarming. And it's a discussion among those who are running for chair of the state party.
Indeed, indeed. They're on the hot seat. Democrats are pointing fingers at themselves. A little bit more about Osceola Democrats. They're a weaker stepchild to the Orange County Democrats. And yes, it's true that in my experience and knowledge in working with the Osceola Democrat organization, they pretty much take their orders from the Orange County Dems. It is a weaker organization. It is what it is. There are some good people there. However, it doesn't sway the vote in Osceola. And again, there's bad blood. You cannot deny it in the Senate District 25 race. Arrington defeating Carmen Torres for that seat, defeating Jose Martinez for that seat, a seat that Carmen Torres, during the primary, said it's a Puerto. She publicly said it is a Hispanic seat. It is a Puerto Rican seat. She was not shy about it, very candid about it, and so again, representation of the Hispanic community, the Puerto Rican community here in Central Florida has eroded. And what will be the answer for the Hispanic community in Central Florida to that?
Oh, that's a simple one. You need to work it. Simple. You need
Mm-hmm.
to sit down and work it because, look, it's going to be easier for us because once they start to realize how the Republican Party nationally is going to screw with Puerto Rico and is going to discriminate against Puerto Ricos and is going to do everything it can to take away funds from Puerto Rico, they're going to say, oh, wait a minute, maybe I went wrong. Okay, but then again, I'm not going to only talk about Puerto Ricans because I think there's a lot of Mexicans. I think there was a lot of other nationalities that also voted Republican because they were promised things that for some reason they like to call Democrats communists and are trying to call them fascists didn't work because they're fine with fascists. They don't like communists, but fascists are okay. So yeah, but yeah.
To speak to the Florida, and we might as well get this all out before we do our deep dive here. To speak to the leadership issues at the state level, the state chair for the Harris Walsh campaign, her name is, let me pull it up here, Jasmine Bernie Clark. She went on Twitter on November
X.
12th. Thank you, sir. On X. Sorry, Elon. Sorry. She went on X on November 12th and she gave a scathing statement in regards to how Democratic leaders at the national level disregarded the Florida Democrats. And this was in response to a Florida politics uh, blog post and pretty much saying that it was too little, too late. In the final weeks, the Kamala Harris campaign sidelined Florida leadership and launched ineffective field work. And I could go on and on about this. However, what Jasmine was saying is that the Florida Democratic Party failed because they didn't take into account, they didn't take Florida voters seriously. And in essence, she's saying, fix your shit.
And she's right. Let's stop pretending. Biden did not work Florida. He did not win it, but he didn't work. He didn't spend any money. And this is the stupid thing that pisses me to no avail. They took all their money and they spent it in the 7 swing states. And what do they have to show for that? Nothing.
Nothing.
They lost all of them. So basically, I had to say this. Kamala inherited Biden's bad staff. She kept the bad staff because she didn't have time to find new staff, supposedly. Look, campaigns are as effective as the people who run them. And the people who ran her campaign, I don't know, they might want to go back to school because they're idiots, morons, and don't understand how a campaign should be run.
I
Second
mean,
of all, with all
okay.
due respect to everybody, Biden lost this election. It's his fault, and it's our fault for not calling out. I know I've been in trouble because since early this year, I keep saying we need to get rid of Biden. We need to get rid of Biden. We need to get rid of Biden. Oh no, Jimmy, everything is fine. The economy is fine. Everything is super good. He passed the most comprehensive bill about transportation and infrastructure and people. No, but I was wrong. No, I was right and you were wrong. And when people kept telling me, look, they're going to spend money in Florida, no. I'll give a sample even worse. The week prior to the end of the election, the Florida Democratic Party gave money to Orange County, but none to Osceola. Okay, they had already conceded that Osceola was a lost issue. They gave money to Orange County, and with all due respect, I'm going to say this: what this shit were you thinking about? The week
Mm-hmm.
prior to any election in Florida, 70% of the people have already voted.
Exactly, Jimmy.
The day of the election is more of a formality, but really, no, that not only that, you get the money the week before. Now you're gonna have to contract who and get this out and get that out, and basically, it's a waste of time. It's only for you to say we spent $85,000 in Orange County in outreach. Yeah, but you spent it the week before, and you're expecting that if this you did that Orange County didn't spend all that money, it'd be returned. Look, I'm going to say this. The National Democratic Party needs to go. The whole people, everybody. If you want to continue being a senator, you want to continue being a House representative, that's fine. But you need to get away from leadership because you have fucked up this party beyond recognition. Our leadership has fucked up this party beyond recognition. I'm going to say it for a second time because it needs to be put into proper thought. So, with that, I will go to my 15 points.
Let's jump into it. Let's go, Jimmy. What you got? I got some points too. But
Okay,
you
I'll bring
first.
I'll bring up my first point.
Okay, sir. And you know something? I'm
Yeah.
going to document this while we go, as we go. So
Okay. Ready?
I'm
Yes.
ready. Let me get a document going here.
Okay.
Okay. What we got there, Jimmy? What's your first point?
Listen. For some reason, you people in the Democratic Party think that you know what you want to know. You don't listen to anybody. Look, and I'm going to start by the first thing. One thing that Calra and I have in common is to say these words: "Is the economy stupid?" For some reason, they thought we're going to put as our campaign Donald Trump is a fascist, Donald Trump is weird, the people with Donald Trump are weird, and if you vote for me, I will protect your rights as a woman. And that was it. Okay? They did not listen to what was affecting the people. If there's one thing I have to give credit is that to a certain point, the Republicans listen and they know that people are paying more for their eggs, they're paying more for their milk, they're paying more for their food, they're paying more for their gas, and so on. And that the economy that you could say is doing well is bullshit, it's not. So we did not listen. We never listen. We think we know what's best for this country, and we're very patriotic. Oh, well, this is what they need. This is what we're going to talk about. You need to go out there and sit down and say, hey, tell me, what did we do wrong? What are your problems? Where did we fail you? How can we do better for you? Because realistically, the party fails to listen. All they
Yeah.
want to do is say, this is what we're going to do. An example of that was here in Florida. They look at the end what they're saying. The people from the Harris campaign decided to do something in Florida that they thought was going to work. They did not listen to the chair. They did not listen to the people here. They just said, "This is what we're going to do in Florida," and that's it. And then when they lose it, they try to point fingers the other way. So the number one thing the party needs to do is it needs to learn how to listen because it's failed in that aspect for years.
I agree with you on that one, Jimmy. There's no doubt that the messaging by the Democrats was poor. They failed to really touch the pulse, to read the pulse of what Americans were thinking, what they were feeling. Let's put it that way. And with most of the electorate, it's about what they're feeling. And it was no doubt that people were feeling that this economy was not helping them meet their everyday needs, their kitchen table needs. So I agree with you on that. And the messaging, again, it helped Democrats during the midterms. You have a smaller electorate coming out during the midterms. Abortion, it helped the Democrats. However, you have a much larger electorate, a more diverse electorate coming out during the general election, and particularly with two polarizing figures like Biden, Trump, and then Harris, Trump. The Democrats needed to pivot. And one of my issues that I want to bring up is the decentering of men by the Democrats. The rallies all about the women, abortion, And as I looked at the data, I'll pull it up a little bit later in our conversation as we get to it. Um, you know, most abortions occur, about 48% of them occur before 6 weeks, and then the vast majority after that under 9 weeks. So, and I'll pull up that data so we can take a closer look at it. So, the Democrats tried to make it a hair on fire issue, and it didn't resonate across the nation. It didn't resonate with the battleground states, and here we are.
Okay. With that, then let me bring my number two. You need to change course, Ari. You have been doing things the same way, and the only reason you won the last election is because Trump was recent and he lost it. And you won it by a chin chin chin, so you need to change course. You can't continue this. This is my base. This is what we need to. I could count on. This is
Mm.
this, and this is that. And no, you need to change course. Maybe you need to change course and start trying to be politically correct. It's not helping you at all. And you need to change course of thinking that you're going to keep everything centralized and you're going to have one campaign nationally that's going to work in the North, in the South, in the East, and in the West, and in the Central. It's not working. Change course. If there's one thing I have to give credit to the Republicans, they have changed course.
One thing I do know about the Republicans and why they were so certain about their ground game, which the media, and that's another issue we'll get to, the media, the legacy mainstream media got wrong, is that the Trump ground game was there. It existed quietly. And what they targeted, and I know this for sure, for certain, this strategy not only helped them at the national level, it trickled down to the local level, to school board races. They targeted those voters who do not come out to vote on a regular basis. Those low propensity voters were targeted again and again, and it worked.
That's true. Can we pause a minute here?
Sure can. Let me pause. Okay, Jimmy. So we were talking about the changing course, adapting campaigns to the voters as it should be, to where they are, meeting them where they are. Um, a campaign in a battleground state is different than how you would campaign in Florida.
Yeah,
And
and I understand that there's some people you're not going to convince, and I understand that. But this thing of just saying, okay, this is the way we're going to do it, and one of the things my prime example of changing course, when they go low, we go lower. This when they go low, we go higher. It's not work. When they we need to start calling out that's a lie. That's you're incorrect. You're a liar, pants on fire, and not rely on our media to say it. No, we need to go out there and say, hey, by the way, he said this. This is a lie, and here's the proof. He said this. This is a lie, and here's the proof, and call them out. But people do not like nice people. They like people who are tough and people who show some courage. This of I'm going to be politically correct, they don't like it. We do, but
yeah,
they don't. And
yeah.
sometimes we try too hard to be politically correct. We might keep some of our people happy, but the rest of the people don't. So we need to change course.
I agree, Jimmy. We Democrats go out of their way. They bend over backwards to make sure that they don't offend. And when someone who's probably on the fence and not too sure who to vote for, and they go on, a candidate's website or their X account or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, I'm an average Joe. I'm an average Jane." and they come across a profile of Kamala Harris, and there's her pronouns. Like, come on, forgive me if I don't use the right pronouns for you, but hey, I'm gonna, you know, present myself as who I am. And if you're presenting yourself and I get your pronouns wrong, I'm sorry, but don't berate me. Don't put me down. Don't call me, you know, some type of, cultural monster. It's it's this disconnect that Democrats have with what people are saying the normal, just normal societal behaviors and normal societal what's the word I'm looking for, habits, beliefs, um, value systems. And so that cultural woke war that Democrats and liberals have waged in the last, several years, in this last decade, it's worn thin. It's definitely worn thin, and people want to get back to a sense of traditional values.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to go to my third.
All right.
The old farts of the Democratic Party must let the party go. Uh, they have controlled this. They manipulated when Biden was going to leave, and the old fart of Pelosi went and talked to the other old fart and say, hey, "You need to go because people don't like you, and thank you for your service, but we're gonna push Kamala to be our candidate, and we're gonna tell people what to do because we are the people who control this party, just like they did with Bernie. Look, let's stop the lie. I'm going to call my party out. Okay, Bernie was winning 5 primaries, and then all of a sudden, Biden won South Carolina, and it was like, whoa, everything changed. No, it didn't. What changed is that the pandemic came in, Cuomo canceled the primary and New York, and even though Bernie won the one in California, it was like, no, we're going to go with Bernie, and the people, the old farts that control the party, pull together and say, Biden's our candidate, and they push it down everybody's throat. Uh, no, people, you could be a state senator, Schumer. Also, you can continue being a congresswoman, but you
Yeah.
need to go. The old farts, let go of the party. The old farts are the ones that screwed us. The old farts are the ones that are responsible for this loss.
And it was Pelosi who led the charge to force Biden out of this year's election. And I hope she take her and Schumer take a cue from Illinois Senator Dick Durbin and strongly consider retiring after this term, if not sooner. I heard a little bit of former Speaker Pelosi's interview with the New York Times, blaming Biden for this loss. Like, no, no, you can't. You can't. I believe you can't lay all this at Biden's feet. This is the guy that they wanted, that the elites wanted. And when he won South Carolina, Representative Clyburn was, guaranteeing them, the nomination and to roll through. And they threw Bernie under the bus. They did. And the elitists won. And this is where we are right now. What else is there to be said? They
There's not
lost.
much, not much to say. You are the cause of the loss. You need to go.
Yes.
That's it. Let the young people come over and take over this party.
Yeah.
For
Yep.
real
Build it
due
back
respect,
up.
they can't do any worse.
Yep. Obviously, the money's there.
Yeah.
So, connect the money with the young generation who will rebuild this party and get back to what was helping Democrats win.
Correct.
And to take it a little bit further in these old parts, let's throw the Obamas into this also.
And the
Um,
Clintons.
and the Clintons, thank you, and the Clintons. Obama's legacy is shit now. It is.
Yeah.
I again, I was disappointed by both he and Michelle Obama coming out and berating men, berating black men. As we see, they showed up for the most part for Kamala Harris, and it's sad to see the Obama legacy go down in flames this way.
And and if you
It's very
notice,
sad.
there was no Hispanic leader throwing under the bus either Hispanic males or females. They just kept telling the party, "You're not working it. You're not working it. You're not working it." And for the record, Gallegos won in Arizona.
Yes, he
Gallegos
did.
is Hispanic, and he won with the Hispanic vote.
There you go.
Okay.
He's an outlier.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Number four is one that everybody's been saying, and I have the cojones to say them. Party and the fucking wokeness thing and this politically correct thing. It's time to end it. Look, I hate to say this. You have a people, and 50% of people voted for a man who talked about another man's penis, who goes rapping crazy things. He's the crazy uncle for Thanksgiving. Not that we're in the time of Thanksgiving. He's a crazy uncle Thanksgiving who has a couple of drinks and says crazy things. Look, just go up there and talk to the people. Say, look, you're right. The rich people are screwing us over. They're taking away our jobs. They're killing the middle class, and they're killing the middle class because you people are the ones who basically are buying online, and then you're complaining that nobody has a job in the store because you buy online. Uh, and talk to the people the way they want this. They don't care about transgender. They don't care about anything. But to take the words of Newsroom, that is 1% of everything in this country, transgender and this and that. But the Republicans get to hit us with that. The Republicans get to use it against us.
Yeah.
And basically, we don't need to defend ourselves. All we need to say, hey, look, there's some crazy people out there, and you think that they're Democrats. I don't know that they're Democrats. They're crazy. You people have crazy people, so do we. But it, there is no policy here. I mean, when DeSantis came and said, I'm killing the wokes in Florida. Look, the Republican Party has been in control of the state for the last 45 years. What wokeness? There was no wokeness in the state that was ever legislated. So you're just using it as a campaign. So we get rid of it and we say, screw you. Uh, and then we attack them on their laws against the minorities, on their laws against people with disabilities, on taking away funds
Yeah.
from people to eat and for people to have a roof over their head. That's what we need to talk to them. But let's stop about this wokeness that uh, uh, of things that really all they do is come back and bite us in the ass. Yes,
Right.
I'm not saying that you have to go against the rights of anybody. No,
No,
but don't
no.
put them as a center because it goes back to listen. That is important to certain groups. I'm not going to say it's not, but it's not important to the majority. They vote with their pocket. We've been saying that for years, and that's how the Democratic Party became what it was. But it stopped doing that, and now it's not not listening. Okay.
And bringing up DeSantis in Florida, I've always said that Florida is the test kitchen for conservative politics. And if there's anything that the National Democrats should have learned a long time ago, is that Florida, Texas, they lead the way in setting the national tone for conservative politics. Look, we've got Matt Gaetz, we've got Michael Waltz, we've got Susie Wiles, we've got these individuals, Senator Marco Rubio, all now are going to be a part of President-elect Trump's cabinet. That's that's not by happenstance or by accident. That is on purpose. And DeSantis is looking really good right now. He kept the supermajority. The Republicans kept their supermajority. I believe added one additional seat. The House delegation remains Republican for the most part. The Democrats hope to flip five seats, House district seats here in Central Florida. They failed. It was a wash for the most part. Everything was a wash for the Democrats. Um, the Democrats need better messaging. They need better a lot of things. And ending this cultural war, ending the the centering of issues that, like you said, don't really affect the pocketbook of voters where it really matters. Again, those damn kitchen table issues. I'll stop right there, Jimmy.
Okay, so let's get with number five. This
All
one
right.
that comes very close to heart to both of us. Stop taking for granted the African American vote and the Hispanic vote. Work it. The truth of the matter is, we started with Osceola County saying that. Why? Well, look, Osceola County has no money. The state party gave it no money. The state party does not have an Hispanic outreach, but the Republican state party has an Hispanic outreach, just for the record. And so does it have an African American outreach. We don't, they do. Uh, when Rubio went out there, he said, I'm one of you. These Democrats talk pretty about they, but when you go to the House and the Senate here in Florida, 80% of all the people who are elected who are Hispanic happen to be Republicans like
Yeah.
you, and this and that. And to be quite honest, their leadership, they had Jimmy there and they kicked him out because Jimmy didn't deliver South Florida and this and that. And basically, there's an internal fight inside the Florida Democratic Party between African Americans and Hispanic that is killing us. But they've taken us for granted. They don't work us. They don't spend money on us. They don't cultivate us. We might be their base, and as far as it goes, you don't work your base. I'm not sure who you're working, but you're not working your base. Look, I mean this in all sincerity. If the Democratic Party is going to succeed, you need to spend money talking to Hispanics and talking to African Americans. Don't take us for granted that just because in the past we have voted this way, we're going to continue voting this way. One of the things that I learned from some of the youth is that some of the younger kids, their parents were Democrats, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be Democrats. And some of the kids in South Florida whose parents were Republicans, that doesn't mean they're Republicans. They did think differently. But for some reason, we just assume that these people are going to look at everybody. These pennies are abandoning the party. Yeah, well, they are.
Yeah.
Have you done anything to them? No. Have you done anything for them? No. Have you even helped them out? No. Look, I'll give you an example. One of the frustrations that nobody talks about in our party, and was mentioned to me by somebody in South Florida recently. Annette Tadeo, Hispanic, ran against a white woman and lost. And
Right.
who campaigned against Annette Tadeo? Believe it or not, it was a strange alliance. It really was.
Really.
Oh yes, it was the white vote and the African American vote against Annette Tadeo, and the Jewish uh, and the House and the Senate vote for Annette Tadeo. And to be quite honest, they destroyed the party between both of them. So right now, you could have talked to, hey, look, people, we ran a white woman against a Hispanic woman, and the party decided to go with the white woman and screw the Hispanic woman. But vote for us because we're the party of the Hispanics.
Jimmy, you're right. The party has taken advantage of the black vote and the Hispanic vote. Um, as I as a political consultant and a strategist, I look very closely at my peers and my opponents, and I'm part of different social media groups and chats, and I'm listening and I'm watching, and I see the same faces in pictures, glad handing, patting each other on the back, big smiles, you know, funny remarks against the president or Republicans, but it's the same faces, Jimmy, the same voices. And I'm not seeing an attempt, at least local, well, across the board, Jimmy, from the party, reaching out to elected leaders, Hispanic elected leaders, um, who are not within the usual Democratic network or clique, but who are Democrats, who are elected leaders or influencers, um, and not in the party not engaging them. And this circular firing squad that the Democrats have, where in echo chamber, I'm throwing a lot of a lot of these things out, but it's this echo chamber that they tell each other, oh, this is great, this is great, this is great, but in reality, what's happening, and maybe in their words, are not met by their actions. And to take it even further, it's the same damn playbook over and over and over again. There are some operatives out there who do good work. I know them. They do good work on behalf of Democrats, and they were never approached. Maybe because they're straight, male, maybe because they're not female, they're not, white, or maybe because they're black or Hispanic. But it's this group that has made decisions for the larger Democratic electorate that keeps the Democrats either in a stalemate or losing.
Well, that's not the Federal Democratic Party is not run by the chair; it's run by consultants who basically keep telling us that they know how to win the state, and they've told us for the last 30 years and shit, we haven't won the state. So, stop proving Einstein correct. But
Yes.
the thing that pisses me to no avail is that, wow, the Spanish are now voting for us. Even though we didn't shoot for them, we didn't even spend a penny on them, they should be voting for us. Really? Are you that stupid or moronic? And that's what I'm having a problem. Look, there's a lot of people out there pointing fingers up. You know what? I'm going to say it right now. Nikki, don't you even think of running for re-election.
Or
You caused the state to be lost, so you couldn't even recover Miami again. Stop this. You kicked out decent people from their just to get payback because they didn't vote for you. Nikki, get out of here. If you want to run for governor, good luck. There's going to be about 7 other crazy Democrats going to run. There's only one Democrat who could win, and he's going to probably run as an independent. Whoa! I'm giving away information. Okay. So,
some of that secret sauce.
yes, there's a secret sauce. There is somebody who might run as an independent who's a Democrat, who's
Really?
very pissed off with the results.
Um, for governor?
Yep. And he's a
Yes,
millionaire.
I think I know who you're talking about, but we'll just let our viewers and listeners uh,
Imagine.
have a guess.
Send me your guesses. Send me your guesses. Yes. Send me your guesses.
Yes. Send Jimmy your guesses, your thoughts on who you think this Democrat turned independent that will run for governor. Who do you think it is? Let us know.
Okay.
All right.
Now, next point. Bring back the dying middle class to the party. For some reason, we've become the party of the elite, of those of us who may have college education. But we stop trying to work the middle class. And
Yeah.
with middle class, I'm going to say one word: both males and females. Mrs. Harris, you did not win either of those votes. You lost both of those votes. You lost the 7 swing states because you didn't work the middle class.
Yep.
And the 2 points I'm going to bring following this is how you're going to start working the middle class. As a matter of fact, the next 3 points are going to be how you can work the middle class.
All right.
Okay, point one: stop saying that everything's okay when it isn't. Eggs are more expensive, juice is more expensive, milk is more expensive, rent is more expensive, and I can keep on going. But you're saying, hey, the economy is solid. The market is solid. Look at all the improvements in the market. Who gives a shit about the market? Your middle class does not receive any pennies from the market. Okay, they're not investors. Next, accept that you were wrong. For some reason, we're trying to say blame the Hispanic vote. We're trying to blame the African American vote. We're trying to blame the woman's vote. We're trying to blame the man's vote. No, we ran a horrible and stupid campaign, and we're sorry for that.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the person who likes to run campaigns and has a little bit of knowledge of how to do it. And this is something that you might want to go and ask why they feel that the Democratic Party has abandoned them. I keep hearing people tell me that they feel that the Democratic Party abandoned them. Ask them why they feel that way. And then go back to number one and listen. And that might help you do better the next time. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to go into what I call solutions.
Okay.
Look for a new leader. Okay? And listen to what I'm about to say. I don't want the rising star of the governor of Massachusetts or the governor of Maryland or the mayor of this city or the mayor of that city. Look, the people have elected twice a non-former governor, a non-former senator, a non-former congressperson, a non-former mayor, a non-former city council member, a person who walked out there and say, hey, this is bad. Now,
Yeah.
I could give you somebody who could go and say, look, you know something? You people are right. The rich are getting richer, and we're getting screwed because of that. The laws that they pass in this country, the Republicans and have taken us to the point where we are making less money in our pocket, and they have allowed that prices keep going up, and they have allowed that your dollar is stretched less, and that instead of being upper middle class, now you're lower middle class. And by the way, these people lie to you when they say that everything is fine, that they're going to make America great again. They haven't made America great again. America's still going downhill and
Mm.
in a basket, and you need to address this. And you need to stop thinking Democrat or Republican and need to vote for me, which is basically, in a summary, what Donald Trump did.
Yeah.
But we try to go out there. No, we're going to discuss foreign policy. We're going to discuss how we need to keep the dollar strong. You do that once you get elected. People don't give it. Right now, they just did a survey because they're scared of what's going to happen. And the American public does not care about the war. And Israel does not care about the war in Ukraine. They care about their pocket.
That's
So
right.
Hispanics don't care about immigration because those Hispanics who could vote already here legal, and they don't care about the others other than themselves. Puerto Ricans, you talk to them about immigration, and they don't care about it.
They're
But if you talk to
citizens.
them about statehood to Puerto Rico, they may or may not care about that. So there are issues. But we don't talk about education. We don't talk about uh,
Hmm.
uh, other materials. Look, we need somebody who's brand new, who the people will listen to, who has a leadership quality. Because right now, we don't have a leader. I'm gonna. I hear people say, "But what about the governor of Massachusetts? What about the governor in Maryland? What about the mayor of this city?" Hey, let them run. But you need somebody who can go up there and say, "Look, we're going really quick to shit in a basket, and we need to find a solution to this because either we get this back. It's not to make the country great again. It's to save the country from the fucking up that these people have done." Whoa! What? Look, I hate to say this, but believe it or not, as much as people criticize Bernie, his message was about economy,
It resonated.
and it resonated. And there was thousands and thousands of people there. Okay, but we're afraid because he's associated with socialism. Uh,
Good Lord.
uh, you ask me, are you a socialist? No, fuck it. Okay, what's your next question, asshole? Well,
Right.
we said, yeah, I don't give a shit what they said. This is what I am. And that's what people want to hear. They think,
Exactly.
well, avoid the subject. No, don't avoid it. Confront it. Take it on.
I
Next,
agree. I agree, Jimmy.
next point to our National Democratic Party, these four words. All politics are local. What works in Florida may not work in Pennsylvania. What works in Michigan might not work in Texas. As a matter of fact, it doesn't. Uh,
Yeah.
but for some reason, they want to have a national message. You cannot. You need to
That's right.
address it. You need to have commercials that address things in, in advertising according to the place there is. It's kind of interesting, but we don't say this. Uh, when you have local commercials in the South, they're completely different from those same products in the North. Why? Because people address them differently. Uh,
Right.
okay, so all politics are local. Start doing a campaign that the people in Texas might vote for you, and the people in Florida might vote for you. But if we all do respect, you do not go into a church and say, "Vote for me because I'm going to help a woman get an abortion." It may not work in the church, black or Hispanic. Maybe in a white church, but not in those.
It's
Okay.
that disconnect. It's that disconnect, Jimmy. And I see this with the Democrats, at least locally, who again they're in that echo chamber, and they may have worked a campaign or two, and it's been in areas where there's a lot of Democrats, and here in Orange County, you get to the general election, you're pretty much certain that you're going to win as a Democrat because Democrats outregister Republicans, and unless you really blow it, you're likely to win as a Democrat. That's
As a
that's
matter
what
of fact, proof of things here in Central Florida, to most voters who are Democrats, the environment is an issue. That's why Steve tried to say that Kenny's husband was a developer and that he stopped development in Winter Park, which is kind of stupid, people. There is no development in Winter Park. There's no land to develop. Sorry, but that's what you need to do. This is no, just call it what development. There's no land to develop in Winter Park. Okay, stop lying to the people. And her husband is an engineer who works with a company.
yes,
You're a liar. Questioning her credentials as a teacher and as an economist. Yeah,
right.
really? God, you are an asshole. Wait a
I,
minute. Wait a minute.
and I really that's a different part of what I want to say, but I really question who the hell. are consulting with some of these candidates because they are coming up with some bullshit. I mean, some obvious stuff. Like, how disconnected are you from what's happening in the streets? But that's a different conversation.
Well, no, what they're doing is that they're pandering. Look, the money that Steve and Austin had was Republican. And they're
Yeah,
pandering to the people who are giving them money. Say, look, we're going to go anti-woke. Wait, we're going to call them out and say that they're the developers, not us. Well, okay, fine. You know, and we're going to not lie, but uh, there was no development when he was mayor because there's no land to develop within the city limits. So okay, let's stop with that. Even though he did develop a new library, which now has some flooding issues, but that's
yeah,
an issue for another day. But
right.
it's all about that. Next, stop conceding red states.
Ooh, very good, Jimmy.
Stop conceding red states. I live in one. And let me clarify to you, idiots. Clinton won it twice. Bush barely won it the first time. We were the mess, okay? Remember? Uh, he won it the second time. Obama won it twice. Hillary lost it, but then Hillary lost almost everything.
Yeah,
The wrong candidate. Uh, uh, and inequality, I hate to say it, yes, she was a female, but she was a bad campaigner, and they pushed Bernie out. They pushed the liberal part of the party to the corner, and then the liberal part of the party could not continue to do it. She lost, but they can see. Look, I understand that you might not win certain states, but unless you start working them, you're going to lose them. How do you work them? Very simple. Just try to bring up the registration. You know who's proven that you don't concede red states? And who's my hero?
who's that, Jimmy?
Stacey Abrams.
Ah, yes,
Okay?
Abrams plan. Yes,
Look, even Trump won Georgia, but it was close.
very close.
North Carolina, the people there are working in, and it is close. Look,
Yes,
people, stop conceding red states because
yep,
right now, the states that you think are blue, you're losing.
yes,
And put them on defense and say, what are they doing in Alabama? What are they doing in Kentucky? What are they doing in Arkansas? Well, what we're doing is we're making you spend your money there because we're putting you on defense. And you might win some House races. House races. You might win some Senate races there. You might win some Congress races there. You never know. Let's stop. Can I say one thing? Kentucky's governor is a Democrat.
Democrat. Yes,
Okay? So don't tell me that you can't win in Kentucky. The thing is that you don't spend the money and that you don't spend the energy and you don't take the time to say, hey, this governor just got caught with his hands in the cookie jar and running the same campaigns that they do. Stop conceding the rest things. Next, work on all genders. For some
uh-huh,
reason, my party has stopped working the male vote.
right. I don't
And,
get that.
and then they say, well, why are Hispanics not voting for me? Well, first, you don't work them. And second, if they're males, you don't work them at all. So we need to stop that. Abortion is important. I'm not going to try to minimize it. But so is the issue that men are being feel screwed over. And maybe somebody should tell them, look, no, you're not being screwed over, but I understand how you feel about this. Let's see how we can help you, and let's see how we can address your concerns. Okay?
I agree with that, Jimmy. And when we were in our break, I took a quick look at the data in regards to the Centers for Disease Control in their breakdown of the prevalence of abortions, and slightly over 80% of abortions are completed before I believe it was 9 weeks, and then it gets to about 91, 92% before 13 weeks. I do have that data. And so there's that disconnect also. As a matter of fact, here it is, Jimmy. Let me just put it on the screen for us and our viewers. I think we're missing um, that issue with abortion and getting Democrats getting support from. There it is. Let me share that. There we go, Jimmy. Getting support from not just women, not just liberal women, but also conservative men and women and more liberal men. Amendment for the abortion ballot initiative, constitutional initiative here in Florida, failed. It had 57% yes votes, but in Florida we needed 60. But as you can see in the chart, and again, this is for the Centers for Disease Control. Um, Less than 6 weeks, about 45% of when abortions occur. Between 7 and 9 weeks, 36%. So with the 36% and the 45%, you've got 81% of abortions occurring less than 9 weeks and less. And if you add in 10 to 13 weeks, that's 93%, 94%, if my math is correct, that most abortions occur in that time frame. Add in, 14 to 15 weeks, which most people, based on past data that I'm aware of, anecdotal data, a 15-week ban is, you know, the compromise in many cases. Florida had a 15-week ban. If you add in that 3%, based on this chart, that's about 95%, if my math is correct. So um, there's there's some consensus. I believe most Americans can agree with, a 15-week ban, 13-week ban, and women's rights are not being limited. Um, in Florida, we do have the 6-week ban, which again, 45% of most abortions occur in that time frame. However, the backlash to this election is that women have lost their rights, particularly when it comes to reproductive health care. That's a hard pill for me to swallow.
Well, the problem is right now that is true, but there's other states where it passed. Florida, we had the stupid requirement of 60%. In Florida, we tried to take the high road when they kept saying that they were going to kill the baby even after birth. If this passed, we did nothing about it. Uh, I'm sorry. The thing is that still we concentrated everything on this, and it didn't pass. And I blame the people who had this because they had to understand that this was 60% that they needed, and they were trying to work to show that it was bipartisan. They tried to work that this was a classy act, that they were not going to go scoop to the level of these people. Well, guess what? They killed you. So, could they done a better job? Sure. Every time you lose, that's why we're analyzing here today, because we're analyzing how the party lost and big. Okay, next thing. And
All
this,
right, let
okay,
me bring it back up. Sorry about that, Jimmy. Here we
no
go.
problem. I'm going to take your time. Okay, 11. Stop going to the center. It is not the answer. You just use math. Okay. According to the election we just had, 51% of the people voted towards the right. There's somebody was saying, when I get in office, I'm going to be ultra right. I am going to be pro this and pro that. So let's take them at their word. That's 51% of the population. Let's be magnanimous and say that 50% of the Democrats consider themselves progressives or liberal. That means that 78% of the population of this country is not in the center. Thinking that if you stay in the center, you're going to win elections. God, Kamala did everything within her power to show that she was a centrist, and it
Mm.
backfired on her. And it
Yeah,
backfired on her
she didn't seem comfortable there.
because she should feel comfortable there. Because nobody believes in the things that she was saying.
Yeah,
But we keep saying we need to be in the center because if we go too far to one side, they're going to vote against us. Yes, they are. You're right. But at the same time, you're telling the people in our party, vote for me, even though I am not going. I don't represent your values, and I don't represent the values of a Democratic Party. But I'm going to do things, and I'm going to stay centrist, and I'm going to do these things. Look, there's some centrist things that I put out there. Some people are going to say, "Well, Jimmy, you're a centrist. You want to kill wokeness." Well, this is not a left or right issue. It is an issue that is completely different. Politically correct is being polite, but
right.
people don't want to be polite, so that's fine. You have to adjust what they want. But realistically, we have to start being to the center. We need to be to where the majority of our party is, which is to the left, like it or not, and say, hey, those people are stealing your money. Those people are with the rich. Those people are going to kill the breeding room for your grandkids. That's and you're still being a liberal, but start calling them out.
Yeah.
But this is no, we have to be a centrist. Biden and Kamala pissed off more than half of the party with their centrist thing. I hate to say it. He tried to say in the center about Israel, and he pissed off the people in Michigan.
Yes.
So we lost Michigan. Okay, so that, be but being a centrist is not the answer. Number 12. Stop telling the people what you think they want to hear. God, we've become so politically correct that we don't dare say, God damn it, Donald Trump spoke 20 minutes about a man's penis? What the fuck is wrong with this man?
Right.
No, we don't do that. We just say that they're weird because we had to find a word that was politically correct. Weird. They're not weird. They're crazy. Oh, you use that word, Jimmy, because that's but no, no, no. You have to stop telling people what you think they want to hear. Look, the majority of the people went with the crazy guy. They went with the guy who did not talk politically correct. He talked to them what they want to hear. I'm going to make this country great again. I'm going to save the economy. I'm going to get your jobs back. I'm going to do this. Oh no, we need to fight abortion. We need to get women's rights. We need to, because that's what we think they want to hear.
And Jimmy,
They don't
and
want
this,
to hear.
right, agreed. And Jimmy, is this the fault of the parties, both parties, but specifically Democrats, since we're talking about them, relying so much on polling? I did my other show about polling, and this cycle seemed to have so much emphasis on the polling, and it turns out many of the polls just didn't hit. Is that part of the problem? Part of the problem, Jimmy?
That was going to be my major point. Stop believing in polls.
Mhm.
They're always wrong, but you know why they're wrong.
They're snapshots in time at that moment.
Not
It's
only that, you're asking. There's a book that I love, and I've read it a couple of times. How to lie with statistics. Okay, I would put in a chapter in there how to lie with polls. If I ask you, do you like the way the sun has came up this morning? You're probably going to answer yes. So it's not. It's how you phrase the question. Do you think
correct.
the economy is better now? No. Look, the polls tell you something that Democrats continue to ignore. By a major majority of the people thought that Trump was better for the economy than Kamala. Okay, the majority of the country, those polls were right. The majority of people thought that he could get us out of this mess, and she couldn't. The majority of the polls told us that they said they don't know enough about her, and
Correct.
the majority of the polls told us that they associated her with Biden. But those polls
Yes.
we chose to ignore. We were looking at those people who said how they would vote. Look, really, really, in Puerto
I
Rico, they did a poll that somebody came up with the answer why the poll was so off. It was basically first they were calling people random. Wow. Of those, they found out later that 12% were not registered to vote. There was a 9% that hadn't voted in the last election,
Ooh,
and there was a 4% that told them that after they answered the questions, they were not going to vote. So you had almost a 20% margin of error. People, you call registered voters, you take one third independents, one third Republicans, one third Democrats, and you're going to get your results. And basically, what you're going to get is Democrats voting Democrat, Republicans voting Republican, and
yeah.
independents thinking, oh, who I'm going to vote for. That is the problem. So
And
all
Jim, I'm
I
sorry,
don't
Gary.
I don't trust it.
I'm with you 100% there. As I've stated so many times, the only poll that matter is the one on the election day. Every candidate is losing until election day, and therefore act accordingly. Go where your voters are. Go where your voter targets are. Their front doors, their driveways, their front lawns, and in front of their devices. And I prefer focus groups. I listen to um, two podcasts that speak to focus groups. And I heard a lot of what was being said about this particular election in these podcasts. And then later in the evening, I'm listening to some of the polls and their results. I was like, wait a second, is it me or am I not hearing things? But there was definitely a dichotomy here, a difference as to what people were actually saying in focus groups, Jimmy, versus the polling that was created from across the country. When that Iowa poll came out, I'm like, what the hell is this now? Showing that. Kamala Harris was going to win Iowa. It's like enough already. I'm done. I'm done with the polling.
Well, I'll go a step further. I'm not going to go polling, but I'm going to give you something that most people. I try to tell them this, and they don't. So I gave you point uh, 8 that all politics are local.
Yes, sir.
We just had an election in Orange County. And I've been saying this for years. People think, well, Jimmy, that you shouldn't say that because that doesn't sound politically correct and it's kind of insensitive. Okay, but let's be blunt.
Yeah.
The last 4 men, there's been 5 men who run against a woman, and for county commissioners in Orange County.
Great.
One won, and he runs against a crazy woman. The other 4 males lost, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
In Orange County, people tend to vote for women.
Yeah.
There are statistics that nobody wants to talk about, but locally, people tend to vote for women. But you take that nationally for president, and both women and men tend to vote for a man.
Yes.
The two
That's
women
true.
who have run lost, and they lost big. Okay,
Mhm.
so when people tell me, "No, it's time for a woman president," yeah, tell that to the people who vote. Okay, so locally, we'll elect women only. Nationally, we elect men. As a matter of fact, of the 27 congressmen that this state have, it is less than 20% are females.
Yes, sir. I've noticed that also.
Okay, so when we go nationally, male, when we go local, it's females. And
Yeah.
that's something that you can say, well, wait a minute, that's not, no, no, that is correct. We might not like it. We might think it's insensitive. We might think it's politically incorrect, but it's true.
Reality.
So when people tell me this, as a matter of fact, I understand that there was a poll that had Steve Laurie winning by 6 points, and he lost by 8. So I'm not, whatever that is. So, but polls, I like to say this: polls show the result of the person who paid for it.
Yeah, I just can see Steve winning, given the type of campaign he was running. You can't live on mailers and emails and text messages. The mailers go in the trash, the emails go into a spam folder, and the text messages go into a spam folder also if you know what you're doing. There was really no visibility. We both live in the same district, and I could tell you, it was if he really did not want it. The strategy really did not want him to win.
Then, to continue with my stop pushing the progressives, liberal out of the party. I am a liberal. Progressive is my insurance company, and if I have a car accident, they'll pay for it. So that's why I say that. Uh, but for some reason, we have felt pushed away, ignored, told to shut up, told to vote for Hillary, and she was not my a saint. I did not like her, and I've met her 4 times, and each time that I met her, I liked her less. Uh,
Right.
they told me to vote for Biden. I always considered Biden an idiot, and for the record, a womanizer. Not that he had girlfriends, but he was always touching what he inappropriately.
Yeah.
It was a complaint that everybody knew in Washington. And the same thing was with Kamala. I'm going to be honest. If you want to survive in this party, embrace the progressive, embrace the liberals. And look, it was a liberal who gave the women the right to vote. It was a liberal who fought to get the African Americans to be citizens. As a matter of fact, it was a liberal president who pushed the Emancipation Proclamation and then the amendment declaring slavery illegal in this country. And it was a liberal president who basically turned around and gave us Social Security.
Yeah.
So people stop calling us communists, stop calling us socialists. We are not. We just believe that our government is there also to serve us and not to serve the rich and the powerful only. Okay.
Jimmy, take your point about that. It seems that the Democrats have a fear of talking, of interacting, of working with, or even um, trusting certain members of their own party who could be a benefit to the party if given the opportunity. Other voices like liberals, progressives, other voices who have a different perspective and would challenge the status quo. It just seems like, in my experience, with the local party at least, there's this fear of interaction with their own members of their party.
Well, there is and there isn't because the local party is controlled by the person who get the most votes. But the truth of the matter is, candidates, when they sit down and say, hey, you're going to run for office, be careful being liberal. That was told to McCall recently. That was told to Kelly. Let's stop pretending that. They didn't. They didn't have to tell that to Maribel. They didn't have to tell that to Mayra, but they did tell that to those other two. Uh, so realistically, yeah, stop pushing away your base.
Yeah.
Stop pushing away people who have been faithful to you and voted for you and helped you out and hold their nose and vote for people that they don't really like just to help you out. And it started with Bill Clinton, and the first time around, liberals were the ones who put Barack Obama in office. It wasn't the centers, okay? And I'm going to call them out. The centers did not want, they were afraid of running an African American man for president. I was in the party at that time, and there was a fear, including what Bill Clinton said in South Carolina, which let's not pretend that didn't happen, including Hillary Clinton was running saying that she was afraid that if they made the candidate an African American man, they would lose. The person who put Barack Obama in office was the liberal part of the party. Okay,
That's right.
I'm going to call you out because it wasn't the centers, and
That's right.
and basically we put him in there, and basically he then took in Biden, and I'll call him out, and he betrayed us. Okay, so
All right.
with that, let's go to number 14.
Okay. 14.
Stop the craziness of thinking that it's somebody else's fault. It's everybody's fault, including myself. I should have been a stronger advocate, saying that they were doing wrong and not submit to those people. Tell me, Jimmy, we need to be united, and you criticizing is not united. No, I was going to vote for Kamala, but I was trying to say the people who run your campaign are only equal to the people who run Steve Lowry's campaign. They don't know what they're doing. So stop saying somebody else. We all have to take responsibility for this. And the last number 15 is one that has been said by years, and I'm going to end with this. And it's not mine, it is somebody else who I admire. It's all about the economy, stupid. Oh, we're going to talk about abortion. We're going to talk about the foreign concept. We're going to talk about how no, talk about the economy. And once you get in, save the environment. Talk about the economy. And once you get in, fix the thing about abortion. But talking about things that affect part of the population, no. Democrats buy milk. Democrats buy eggs. Democrats pay rent. Democrats pay for their cars. And they're hurting. So it's all about the economy, stupid. Now, next week I'll come up with what I think the Florida Democrat Party needs to do because it's a completely different version. Okay?
Yes.
But people, this is meant for the purpose of saving my party, of making it stronger, of making it better. And sometimes you have to take a little bit of criticism in order to do so. When my grandmother used to tell me that I was doing something wrong, I listened because she had the experience. And I listened because I knew she was telling me because she loved me and she thought that what she was telling me would help me be a better man. So what I'm telling you today is to make you a better party. not to bring you down. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. That was good. That was good. I am going to format this and um, put it in the show notes, the show description. Um, some of my notes. I agree with much of what you were saying. I want to say again that we need to recenter masculinity. We saw that we lost men, and we continue to lose men at the national level. Um,
And Hispanic and African American men, by the way, because they're still men. This is the problem. African Americans and Hispanic are men.
that's
And
right.
when we lose them, we're not just losing white men. Okay? Let's stop pretending that because that's not true. We're not just losing white men, we're losing African American men, we're losing Hispanic men, and we're losing white men.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay?
And
So,
also, I want to add untraditional media. We saw the Joe Rogan effect, and whether it's the national or local level, Democrats need to go on those platforms where there are niche audiences who do vote, who could vote, who could carry this message. And the Democrats missed the opportunity. Kamala Harris missed the
no,
opportunity.
let, let,
Uh,
me- let me put it this way.
mhm,
That was one of her biggest screw ups. She
Sure.
went 8 weeks before she sat down. She picked CNA. She picked somebody nice. She knew what they were going to ask her. She was prepared. And to my surprise, it wasn't to the View that one of the people in the View had the cojones to say, "Hey, would you done anything different?"
Sunny
Yeah, I
Hostin.
didn't think of anything. Okay,
Sunny Hostin. That was her best moment ever,
yeah. And
and that
by the
defined
way,
the election.
where's Sonny from?
Puerto Rico.
We're the island of garbage. Okay, uh, I'm sorry. This is what pisses me off. People can sit down and analyze the campaign. We screwed up. Okay, we did. Majorly. That's why I said, admit that you're wrong. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. Let's get down to tactics and let's save the party. But if we're going to count on the same people organizing this party, if we're going to count on the same leadership on this party, and we're going to count on that we're going to repeat the same thing we did in 2024, we are fucked. Not doomed. We are fucked. Sorry. I'm on a podcast, so I can use that language. That's what I love about podcasts,
Yes, yes. Say it,
as it
and
is.
and it's the truth. It's the truth. The Democrats are fucked, and if the Trump administration has a good 2 years or a decent 2 years or overachieves what people have set a low bar for the administration, things aren't going to change.
Well, they're not going to change unless we change. Okay?
Yeah,
And this is the problem. Einstein had a very smart way of putting it. The definition of insanity is repeating the same act, expecting a different result. That's why you modify your act. This you're trying to make ice cream and you put in 3 scoops of that's because I make ice cream. Okay, you put in 3 scoops of sugar and it's not uh, you taste it, it's not sweet enough. Next time you put in 4. You modify the thing, you know. But people tell me, well, no, you don't change. Uh, those who don't change are doomed to
to
failure.
repeat.
Okay, uh, it's like I never forget. I turned around once to a friend of mine whose battery was dead, and he kept hitting the ignition. And I said, "Look, the battery's dead. You're not going to revive it by keep turning the ignition key. It's dead. Turn it once, it's dead.
Walk
Go
away.
call AAA. Grab me a battery. Okay, uh, but people don't accept that they're wrong, and I'm here to save my party.
All right.
Again, I am not here to criticize. Well, I am criticizing. Let me stop. I am criticizing. But it's the criticism is to say, let's do this different. Now, before I do this and I'm going to do next week 6 points of things that I think our party could do real quick and get better results and come back. Okay?
All right.
So, with that, if you're on YouTube, hit a like, subscribe, join us, ask all the questions you want. I'll make up an answer if I don't know it, or I'll give you the right answer if I know it. But comment. And even if you say, Jimmy, you're crazy, I like that. That's what my grandmother used to call me, you're crazy. So I'm fine with that.
All right, Jimmy. Thank you so much. Like Jimmy said, everyone, please like, share, and more importantly, comment. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Jim, I hope that Jimmy answered the question that you had. And for everyone else, don't be shy. Let us know what you think. Your facts, not your feelings. This is From the Margins with James Lapont and David Washington. We will see you the next time. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.